Peace, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. What? Come on in. Just come on in. Get yourself situated. Come on in. Thank you so much for joining us on today. I know it's Resurrection Sunday Eve, so you might be out participating and doing things with the family or some kind of tradition. That's why I asked the question in the chat. Like, what's your family tradition, or what is your tradition for Easter or Resurrection Sunday? If you have one, feel free to add it in there. I'd love to hear what you all are up to and what you all enjoy doing. I want to thank you all again for stopping by on today. We got a lot to talk about because March is almost in the rearview mirror. Tomorrow's the last day of March. And my goodness, in the morning, I wanted to use like the basketball theme, March Madness, but I didn't want to get some kind of copyright. I didn't want to kind of be misleading because we're not going to be talking about basketball per se. But there has been some madness in this March for sure. This March has been crazy. And might I say again, this is only the third month of the year. We still got 9 more months to go. I can't believe it, man. This year has been crazy, so crazy. But I do want to thank you all so much for hanging out and all that kind of good jazz. We got jumping into the chat. Looks kind of quiet at the moment, but I'm gonna check over here on the good old YouTube, and it sounds pretty good over there. That guy sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and I love it. We got that going on. But I appreciate y'all stopping by. Come on in. Go and get yourself comfortable. Hopefully have something cool to drink. We got something fun to drink today. And we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about because I got to clean out all the traps before we go into a new month. So we got to get it all cleaned out before Monday. Now, by the way, Monday, I will be sitting down with a security guard who ran security here in Atlanta for one particular rapper who's been in the news quite a bit. His 2 homes were raided on this past week, and I have a security guard. We're going to be talking with him about his experience as running security and the such like that for P Diddy here in Atlanta. So that's going to be pretty wild, and that's going to be a members only live stream on Monday. So check it out. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can click on the link down there somewhere and all that kind of good jazz. So that will be on Monday. But real quick, everybody, before we get too far afield, I want you to go with me, if you will. We're going to go back in time. And the time will be March 2023. All right. Not too far ago, not too long ago, just 12 months ago. And back in March of this year, March of last year, this channel was struggling. To say that I was struggle streaming is an understatement. If struggle streaming was an Olympic sport, I was gold medal last year. I was gold medal in struggle streaming. Me and YouTube were having huge problems. My channel was demonetized right before my birthday. My videos were being quashed. So I thought they were being quashed, but that was really a different story. It was horrible. So to say that I was feeling kind of defeated in March of 2023, and actually really to the end of the year, is an understatement. My channel was really having a hard time. It was not getting any traction. Anything that I wanted to see happening was not happening. I was in the process of working with another brother to open up a podcasting and content creating studio. And if you stick around to the end, I'll show you that. So we're in the process of working through that. And I can just tell you right now, there was a lot of Peter and Paul getting robbed. Let me just say it like that. Peter and Paul were both getting robbed. All right. There was a lot going on and it was difficult. It was tough. And so March 2023 was really, that was the start of a really rough part of the year for this channel, for me, and just lots of other things. For my creativity, the whole nine was really taking a hit. And so when I come over here now and we're looking at the tail end of March 2024, and literally everything has been changed. The Lord has blessed this channel immensely, not only with all of you new subscribers, but my whole perspective on this channel has been completely changed. Like I said, stick around to the end. I'll show you what happened with the whole studio thing. I think you might like it. But my whole perspective has just completely 180'd. And I do want to blame it on part and parcel to a lot of the content creators that I've interacted with, and tons of the comments and the subscribers that I've interacted with. God has brought some of the greatest around me. And I tell you right now, I say it with no batting of an eye. This is the best live chat on YouTube, bar none. I don't care. You want to catch me outside? We can fight. Absolutely. I'll absolutely fight with you. We can arm wrestle, thumb wrestle, we can throw hands, whatever. But at the end of the day, it will still be true. This is the best live chat in the world. And you all helped not only change my perspective, not only helped me to see the better that is now where Dear Woke Christian is, but also you all have helped immensely with helping to drive the encouragement and building up of countless other YouTubers. So I do want to say shout out to them. We have a visitor here today. President Firstborn has stopped by. Your mom does a little Easter egg hunt. I don't think she's going to do it this year. I heard she's not, but it's possible. She might wake up in the morning and decide to do it. So, and the reason I wanted to start the show off by saying that is I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel, helping me out with super chats and super thanks, memberships, and all that kind of stuff. But I actually forgot an entire group of people that have been silently supporting Dear Woke Christian and by extension, Podium Studios. And it is my Buy Me a Coffee crowd. So this morning, my mentor kind of mentioned to me, you got to shout out when people send you cash apps and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? I have a ton of people that have been sending me Buy Me a Coffees, and I've not been saying thank you. And so I wanted to start the show off before we get too far afield, to just say thank you to all of and I'm sorry. I should have been doing this more often. So I will be doing this moving forward. But because I love shouting out the super chats and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to find a way to put these on the screen too. So have no fear. So Tawanda, she became a member of my Buy Me a Coffee page. And she's also a supporter. She's supported me with $5. Peach Plates helped me out and supported me with $5. I want to thank you. Mary Will has been a foundational supporter of Dear Woke Christian and everything else, the RICO Defense Fund and everything else. Mary will pretty much buy me a coffee probably every other week. And I really want to say thank you. Then when I got Jeff, and he says he's from Savannah. Let me pull up the whole message. From Savannah, also an adopted Georgian, retired. Love your videos in spite of the fixed income. Needed to help out. And I just want to say thank you, Jeff. Jeff has been a gracious, kind person. I got tons of people. I got tons of somebodies. So there's some somebodies out there. I want you to know that I appreciate you because they didn't put their name on it and they didn't give their email. So it just literally says somebody. There's Cooper. Cooper donated $15 to it and says, I love your channel. And I'm still waiting on the Atlanta Must Be Stopped t-shirt. Okay, I'm putting this out here right now. I really need to do that. I really do need to do my Atlanta Must Be Stopped t-shirt. I said I was going to do it, and I kind of got distracted. So please, if you are a graphic person and can help me with the fulfillment aspect of the Atlanta Must Be Stopped t-shirt. I don't want to make a t-shirt, and then I have like 100,000 shirts in my living room, and me and the kids are trying to stuff them and such like that. It's the fulfillment part that I got to get better at. But I do want to get an Atlanta Must Be Stopped t-shirt, especially before Fani puts me up on RICO charges. Brightbird 2000 gave me $15 and said, appreciating your grace and patience while you stand on the word and defend the gospel. Another somebody, and they just gave me the hashtag Atlanta Must Be Stopped. Then there's another somebody. I got to read the message though. Keep on keeping on, brother. More bread in your pocket. All right. Well, thank you so much. And then lastly, this is all the way back in January, so I apologize. I'm not going to do this again. I'll make sure that I shout these people out more frequently. And it just says, I'm excited about your new year, DWC. Stay on the course, big bro. And I just want to start this off because, like I said, last year was a struggle bus for this channel. Again, if there was an Olympic sport for struggling, last year, Dear Woke Christian was getting the gold medal, the platinum medal, the titanium medal, everyone. But now coming into 2024, and I just thought it was really fun to highlight and shout out all of you all, because you all have made this channel thrive and grow and all that kind of stuff. I'm just sitting here as I'm sure somebody would say, sitting in my office yelling at my TV screen, at a monitor. But you all really make this thing work. So I really want to say thank you all so much for that. Thank you for your encouragement, the comments, those on the Discord, those on the Buy Me a Coffee, all of that. And then, of course, thank you for being part of the best live stream in the world, bar none. For note, we're wearing red and white tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you right now, the hitman is gonna probably wear black and I don't know, whatever I got in the closet. I don't even understand what that means. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out though. Good to see everybody in here. Thank you so much, Robin, for stopping by. Good afternoon to you, sister. Grace and peace to you. As always, Susie Q's in the house. There she is. Rick Caldwell's here. Thank you so much, Rick. You did a great job on that video on yesterday. By the way, Rick Caldwell is a very solid, very foundationally solid Christian content creator. He does great content. Go check out what he's doing over there. If the moderators could drop a link to Rick's channel, they probably already did. I just haven't seen it yet, but shout out to Rick Caldwell. Great job, brother. Thank you so much for stopping by today. All right, so Amber says we go to sunrise service and bake a bunny cake. I love it. There you go. Enjoy yourselves. Good afternoon, Marshall Johnson, the plug. I call Marshall Johnson the plug because he is a fantastic researcher. If you need research, Marshall's dropping it for you. He's always sending us great articles to read, TikToks, because good gracious, I don't know why he does it, but he abuses us with so much information. So shout out to you, Marshall. Thank you, man. Grace and peace. Good to see you. You're in Target, Kiana? What are you doing in Target? Good to see you. Good to see you, D. Absolutely. This is the best chat. Absolutely. What's the Easter tradition? Yes, please put your tradition in there. I'd love to hear what you guys do for Easter. There have been Easter traditions that involves me, Caustic Chameleon says, but one I love when my children were young was dyeing eggs with them and watching them decorate the eggs and house. There we go. I love it. Well, thank you, Caustic Chameleon. Let's keep this going. Good conversations going on. I love when you all are conversating with everybody, giving people a shout out when they come in the house. I love it. Thank you so much. Because we're Southerners, somebody likes to say. We're Southerners and we speak to people when we walk into their house. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Petra says that she does church and then lunch at my grandpa's with the whole family, followed by an egg hunt for all the little cousins. I love it. I love it. Somebody is under the impression I don't know anything about red and white. I don't know. I got a red and white bow tie I can wear and a white shirt. There we go. I'm participating. That's what we'll do. All right. There goes that's my president firstborn, by the way. Hey, what's going on? Kevin Briggins in the building. What's happening, man? Grace and peace, friend. Another great content creator. Good to see you, Mr. Briggins. Can you drop your chat, or rather your channel, the Off Code podcast, in the link in the chat? Good to see you, Rebecca. Always good. Always good. All right. This t-shirt thing's going to happen. Okay. I'm promising you. I got 2 promises for April. We're going to do Critical Race Theory Bingo and this t-shirt. T-shirt's going to happen. It will. I promise you. All right, let's go. Thank you so much. Lou is in the building. Man, come on, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got great content creators like Lou Chikune. He says, greetings, fams. Congratulations, DWC, on all the channel growth and success. Praise the Lord for using this platform. Thank you so much, man. Lou is a great content creator. He's married to Violet Chikune right there. There we go. All right. So if y'all can please drop your links in the chat, that would be great. Berean Babes does excellent Christian commentary on cultural issues, very, very much akin to what I do. And of course, Lou does the same thing, talks a lot about various and sundry issues in Christian hip hop and entertainment. So please check them out. Definitely let them know DWC sent you. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. Thank you so much, Susie, for dropping those links in the chat. Thank you so much. Oh, man, Rick, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Thank you, man. Best live next to Chris. You know what? I'll accept it. I will accept it. The best live next to Caldwell Apologetics for sure. Let me let you know. I will accept that. That is an honor for sure. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm going to get caught up. I think we're caught up with most of the comments. Shara's in the building. Good to see you, sister. Always good to see you. We dye eggs, have an egg hunt, and play volleyball if it's warm enough. Volleyball? Really? I didn't see that one coming. Volleyball. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, critical race theory bingo is coming. I have actually, we probably could play it tomorrow, truth be told. I just haven't talked about it enough. So I got the videos ready. They're already clipped and strung together. I got the bingo boards ready. I can send out the link and everybody's gonna get it. The only thing is I really just want to find a way to be able to see everybody's bingo board in some kind of real time. And I can't find that part. So I'm still researching that, but we're actually ready. So we're going to play it. We are going to play it this month. And I'll go ahead and put that out there as soon as I can. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. There has been no dearth of stuff going on in the month of March. So that's why I call this March Mayhem. We're just kind of wrapping up all of the shenanigans so that as we go into April, at least we can all start from a good starting point. So one of the people that has been in the zeitgeist, that's been in pretty much everywhere for the last week has been Sean P Diddy Combs. So I'm going to bring in a real quick article to kind of explain who he is. So if you don't know who he is and why it is that it's a big deal that he is in so much hot water with not only the Homeland Security, but the FBI and so on and so forth. I thought this would be a good one. So this one right here, I felt really encapsulated a lot of the story. So let's bring it in.
Fox News alert, we found Diddy. The disgraced billionaire hip-hop mogul and Democrat Party community organizer was spotted for the first time since having his homes raided.
Okay, so real quick, before I get too far afield, I just want to double check, make sure our audio sounds good. I thank y'all. I got 37 of you all watching it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. If you do like this content, if you could, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like this content, can you at least help your guy out and hit the thumbs up button 3 times? It kind of sort of works. Let me see real quick. Make sure the audio sounds good on that video clip. All right. I think the audio sounds great. So let's go ahead and get that done. Thank you all so much for hanging in there with me today. Let's go.
In a major sex trafficking investigation, similar to Jeffrey Epstein's, they say. Diddy was seen swinging clubs at a Topgolf in Miami with his daughters. He may look relaxed, but behind the scenes, there's panic. TMZ reporting tonight that the federal case against him is expanding as prosecutors from the Southern District of New York have been dishing out subpoenas to multiple corporations tied to the mogul, like cell phone providers and computer companies. At the same time, Diddy's been unloading his assets. The timing, not coincidental. Selling off his stake in Revolt TV and returning music rights from Bad Boy Records. TMZ reporting the Fed slapping subpoenas on Diddy's chartered jets. Now, sources say even commercial airlines will be subpoenaed, possibly the FAA, as investigators look for anyone who flew on Diddy's dime. They're not only...
Yeah, sorry about that. I have no idea I did that. Sorry about that.
...will be subpoenaed, possibly the FAA, as investigators look for anyone who flew on Diddy's dime. They're not only looking for victims, they're looking for witnesses, people with unfettered access to Diddy's alleged crimes and freak-off parties. Some inside of Diddy's world have already started talking. Diddy's former bodyguard says he'll go on the stand.
I would testify to everything if I was told to. You know, if I was brought in to testify against that. You understand?
Wow.
I'm not going to sit there and wait in jail for him. Nah, I wouldn't do that.
So you don't have no problem testifying?
I have no problem sitting in the court of law, doing my due diligence.
Others have begun to back up some of the allegations in Diddy's former producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones's lawsuit. Lil Rod alleged Diddy's the one who pulled the trigger in the New York City nightclub shooting in '99, the one his prodigy, Shine, took the fall for.
Sure did.
He even bragged about shooting people. The woman shot in the face, now speaking out.
How can you be sure that it was actually P Diddy?
I looked straight forward ahead and I watched the muzzle flash from both of their guns and I felt the impact to my face instantly.
Wow.
There's no doubt in my mind who shot him.
Oh my gosh.
With subpoenas raining down, Diddy's inner circle's getting squeezed. His alleged drug mule's already been handcuffed. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Young Miami, who allegedly transported his pink cocaine on private jets, she's feeling the heat. The question investigators are looking to answer is, who else was involved? As Primetime reported yesterday, the feds seized all of Diddy's surveillance footage, in addition to hard drives and phones. They want to know who was in and out of Diddy's planes and his homes. As Lil Rod's lawsuit alleges, they weren't just up-and-coming artists. These were celebrities, politicians, athletes, international dignitaries, and music label executives, all captured on camera in Diddy's compounds. CEOs from Universal Records to Motown Records allegedly sponsored these parties filled with sex workers, underage girls, and laced drinks. Lil Rod says Diddy had compromising footage of every person at his freak-off parties. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, claimed in a lawsuit that sometimes Diddy would be in the room and use his phone, laptop, and tablet to film these freak-offs, even adjusting the candles for better lighting.
And that is the craziest stuff right there. And of course, all this is all still alleged. Of course, he's still innocent until proven guilty. But if you read the case that they mentioned, the guy, Little Rod, if you read that case, he's actually given pictures. One of the things that he alleged is that P. Diddy wanted to take pictures so bad that he would literally take his phone. If he didn't have his own phone, he would take Rod's phone because he was always around him, his assistant, and film various and sundry things. And that's how Rod had all these pictures on his phone, all these videos on his phone. This is craziness. And one of the things you got to think about is what is going to be the outcome of this situation? Because if y'all don't remember, this is very similar to what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, the guy got called out. There was a lot of smoke. There was a lot of haze until Jeffrey Epstein left prison with a toe tag, and then it all just kind of went away. You don't hear anybody talking about it anymore because P. Diddy's not doing this by himself. There are other people that are involved in it. Where are they going to be is the question I think people should ask. This is horrible. I mean, this is craziness.
What happened at these parties stayed at these parties.
Why didn't you stay late, like after hours? Did it get crazy after that, or what?
I don't know what goes on after hours, but
he wasn't trying to find out.
I wasn't trying to find out. You know, I know my place. You feel me? I know my place.
The freak-off parties.
Yo, this is how bad it is. Do you all know who this man is right here? In the chat. Do y'all know who that man is right there? Does anybody know who that is? I would love for you in the chat, if you know who this man is sitting on this weird looking chair with the gray hoodie on and a black hat. Do you know who this man is? I'm trying to see if anybody in the chat is helping a brother out. Anybody know who that brother is? Let me see. Let's see. Anybody know who it is? This is a great question, Lacey. And why is he not arrested? But we're going to talk about that too. Why I think he's not arrested. Kiana got it. Kiana got it. This is Luther Campbell from, remember him? 2 Live Crew. This is the 80s, late 80s, early 90s rap group that really brought raunchy, deplorable, sexually perverse rap music into the mainstream. If Luther Campbell is literally saying he would not stay at a P. Diddy party, you know good and well that was crazy. This is the grandfather of pretty much every of the rap genre, of the hypersexualized rap genre. That's him. And if he wouldn't stay at one of P. Diddy's parties, he said he didn't stay after a certain time. That's saying a lot. That's saying a whole lot. There's volumes in that little statement. That's craziness. Wow. Okay, let's go.
You know I know my place. You feel? I know my place.
The freak-off parties were a perfect place for feds.
You also have those celebrity environments where celebrities all get together, and there's so many of them, you know, and these wild parties. And if you got a wild party and P Diddy puts on that wild party, and you know he sets everybody up. Like if you were an intelligence agent, you know, like a Jeffrey Epstein type deal, that'd be the way to do it.
Wow.
Big old crazy party, get everybody loose.
And get the cameras
Get them the
rolling.
yayo. Get them the yayo.
And everything else.
Get them everything you need. Get fired up. Get those cameras rolling. And now you got everybody under wraps.
Diddy's former bodyguard tonight alleging that Diddy was working for the FBI as a confidential informant.
People don't realize this, brother. First and foremost, Puff has been dodging the legal system for years.
And this is why Lacey Ann asked, why is he not arrested? I think this kind of adds some reasoning why. Can't guarantee it, but just something to think about. Check it out.
Being, and this is documented, Puff being a CI for an FBI agent. They was taking some papers up to the FBI, so like when they was here in New York. They was taking paperwork up there and stuff like that. Don't know what it was, but later on found out that he was a CI.
Now, Primetime can't confirm this, but if Diddy was an FBI informant, it explains why he was giving a pass to wreak havoc, according to his producer's lawsuit. What Diddy wanted, Diddy got.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
All while he was cozying up to Hollywood figures like Harvey Weinstein and becoming a major voice in the Democratic Party with his vote or die campaigns for Kerry, Barack, Hillary, Biden, getting souls to the polls. For 2 decades, Diddy thought he was untouchable. But now he's had his house raided, tapes confiscated, and the feds are zeroing in on his flight records. Diddy's world's crumbling. The rap industry's warning him that his clock's ticking. Infamous death row executive Suge Knight, serving time for a fatal hit and run, is warning the Brother Love handle won't fly in prison.
I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets, who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in.
Wow. All right, so this is only the beginning. So if you think about it, they raided the man's home, I think it was Monday. They raided his home, all that kind of stuff. Both homes, plural, took lots of electronics, hard drives, computers, cell phones. It's clear that they're looking for video evidence, but they have enough evidence to lock away Sean P. Diddy Combs. So the question is, why are they not arresting him and locking him up? Because he's actually taking his kids out to play golf. So why is that? You got to wonder. And you got to wonder who's shaking in their boots, because they have been to some of his parties. They stayed after 12 o'clock, whatever like that. And what in the world would they would be exposed if they continue? So this is going to be really interesting. And this is only the beginning. This is just the first week. Who knows what's going to end up happening by the end of the summer? Who knows what's going to happen toward the end, toward the election, toward the end of the year? I mean, this story could really get some legs and really take off. So who knows? I just want to give y'all like an update, especially if you're not in that realm and you're not in that genre. At least you have like a working understanding. It's this rapper that was involved in a lot of perversion, and now all of a sudden his card was being punched. So at least you know that much so that you can have a dialogue when you see it. And there we go. Yeah, there was Cuba Gooding was involved in that. Cuba Gooding was involved. It was craziness. It was bananas, to say the least. Real quick. Yeah, Luke Skywalker from 2 Live Crew. If Luke Skywalker from 2 Live Crew, and trust me, even if you don't know who Luke Skywalker is from 2 Live Crew, you've heard something of his, especially if you're an 80s, 90s baby. You know, you've heard it. So now that if he was not going to mess with and fool around with Puff Daddy, what does that say? What does that say about what Puff Daddy was doing? Because trust me, Luke and them were wild. So if he wasn't messing with Puff, that's saying a lot. That is a huge testimony to just how wild he was. All right, let's see. And this is a good question too. If TD Jakes was at any of those freak off party videos, there's going to be a seismic repercussion. I agree. And I'm sorry. I think there's probably some deals being made. Like, yo, we got videos of you, my guy. What's happening? I'm sure of that. Yeah. Anybody seen Lecrae? and the hope, I didn't want to like expose you to all of that. His servant. I just wanted to give you a primer because I got this feeling you're going to be seeing a lot of it on the news and coming out more and more now that they're securing, again, raiding homes, getting people to fess up, so on and so forth. And I just figured bring you all up to speed so you can be involved because I might be talking about it. If things pop off, I'm really going to talk about it. And I figured I'll bring you all up to speed. This is just, again, the March Mayhem, the March Madness wrap up. All right. Yeah, if Uncle Luke is leaving the party, you know it's horrible. You know it's messed up. Brian Hill, I mean, we all have a past. Yeah, I'm not gonna put that up there, but thank you so much. If Luke didn't want to be at those parties, you know that it was filth to the highest order. I mean, that's the part. I was like, yo, that's Luke right there. All right, for sure. All right, what we got? Great commentary going on. Lots of good family reunion happening in there. What is going on? Jarina's in the building. There we go. Everybody, real quick. Jarina from Follower of The Way. I think you just renamed your channel The Way. Fantastic content creator. Want to give her a little bit of shine, give her a little shout out. I know she and I have been talking offline, and I really want to encourage you all to check out what she's working on. If she could drop her link in the chat, I would love for you all to go by there, check out what she's doing. I know she's going to earn your subscription. I know that. So I'm going to just go ahead and tell you right now, just go on and subscribe. Just do it real quick. We'll stay for it. We'll wait for you. All right, let's see. Lots of good back and forth. And I always like to say, look, Susie already got it in there. There you go. Thank you, Susie. Let me make this a little larger. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out eventually. All right. Lots of good family reunion. I love when people come in the building, y'all shout them out. I love it. What's going on? There we go. LaTanya, how are you? Good to see you. Sister Grace and Peace. I was disgusted to see Puff use his teen daughters like that. He never takes them out in public. This week he starts. You know what? I was actually surprised. I didn't realize he had twin daughters until we started talking about this. So I'm with you. I think he's using his kids as a shield. Lots of his property and his ownerships are in his kids' names. So it's grimy to say the least. It's grimy. It's grimy to say the least. All right. Let us get going. Now, many of you may or may not know that I am from Illinois by birth. I know. I've told y'all I'm Georgian, but it's not true. I'm not from Georgia. I'm originally from Illinois. But every now and then, I like to just claim Georgia, so I tell people I'm born in Georgia. But I'm not. And I have been enamored with a suburb of Chicago, a southern suburb of Chicago called Dalton, Illinois. And Dalton, Illinois is, to say the very least, a dumpster fire. They are first of all, Dalton is a town and they have a mayor, but there's also what's called a township. And the township is usually like a large number of towns that are gathered together, and they have like it's called a supervisor, which is basically a mayor over all the mayors. Kind of strange because there are mayors in there as well. So their political structure is kind of odd, but there is that. So you already know where I'm going. There is a mayor in Dalton that's also a supervisor of the township. And it's crazy what she's doing. And her name is Tiffany Henyard. And I haven't talked about her as much as I would like to, But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to allow Nate, the lawyer, to kind of bring us up to speed, because next month, starting in April, I'm going to probably talk a lot more about Tiffany Henyard, because it's just so unreal, from the way she spends money, the way she deals with subordinates, the way she deals with people who object to her. It's really unreal. You kind of think like, wait, this has got to be a very bad Tyler Perry comedy skit or Tyler Perry docudrama or something. This can't be real, but it is. And so I'm going to bring Nate in. Nate's going to talk to us a little bit about Tiffany Henyard and what's going on over there in Dalton. So let us go.
Trustees who were here tonight say they recently won a court case getting the clerk's name back on the village bank account. They say it had been improperly removed.
The trustees did win in court. I have the case right here. Let's go over it.
Thank you, Nate.
So we've been covering Tiffany A. Henyard for a long time, and there have been some recent developments in court that I think you need to be aware of. Now, for those of you who don't know, Tiffany A. Henyard is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. Now, Dalton is a suburb of Chicago. Now, this woman has essentially become a dictator and taken the town over. Now, to make a long story short, Tiffany A. Henyard is under FBI investigation.
Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
The state attorney general is investigating her.
WGN Investigates has learned a suburban politician's charity has attracted the attention of the Illinois Attorney General after failing to file financial documents.
We've reported on Tiffany Henyard. She holds 2 elected positions, Dalton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor. She's used those positions to steer money to her own cancer charity. But how that money is being used is anyone's guess.
And many more problems. Now, one of the main problems that's occurring in Dalton is spending. The mayor has put the city in a 7.
All right. Before we go too far, I am really, and I know there's other content creators that are going to be talking about this as well. There is a problem. There is a systemic problem. There is a trope of leaders of a particular melanin content and a particular gender that can't seem to do the job that they're being hired for without being completely and totally criminal. I mean, it is crazy. So I've been actually keeping a file of all of these different mayors and public attorneys and district attorneys and this and other that are running in various places, from Louisiana to New York to Chicago to Atlanta. They're all over the place. And I think I'm going to probably do an omnibus video just highlighting this. So that's the reason I want to talk about Tiffany Henyard, because she's the most grossest example. But I found somebody that's actually been doing this longer than her, and she is completely out of control. So I wanted to kind of give you all like a little primer so that when we move forward on this, you at least have like a working knowledge of what's going on. And if you're familiar with this story, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. So we'll talk about that. But let's go. Let's get back to it.
$10 million budget deficit, which is huge for a place like this because there's only about 20,000 residents of Dalton, Illinois. Now, the mayor has stopped giving any financial data to the village trustees, who are essentially the city council. Now, this lack of financial transparency and no one understanding what's going on with the bank accounts and the finances of Dalton have led the trustees to have to file a lawsuit to get the information, to understand what's going on with the village's finances. So the trustees filed this lawsuit alleging 5 specific things. Now, first, the trustees allege that the mayor has been issuing checks without the required approval from the village board.
Imagine that. Like, one of the themes that I've noticed is when leaders are not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, they become very standoffish and very guarded in sharing receipts. Doesn't this sound like somebody that we've heard before, maybe even most recently, maybe like in the last couple of days even, that doesn't share her receipts with entities that require and she should be giving those receipts and forms and reports to? It just seems pretty funny because this is a theme. You'll see this with many other ones. They stop showing their receipts. They don't give the checkbook. They take over the checkbook, and they're doing stuff. Wait till you see how much money this woman spent in one fell swoop. It's amazing. Let's go.
And without the clerk's signature. Now, this is mandated by Illinois Municipal Code and village law. Here's an example.
Just for the record, and the reason I guess I want all of the citizens to know why we're so adamant about this budget and what's going on. May 12, 2021, a resolution was passed. The following persons are hereby authorized to be added as signatories for all city accounts: Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Village Clerk Allison Key. Any prior signatories or individuals authorized and hereby removed from the accounts, prior authorization is revoked. Number of signatures required are a combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have.
Is under
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, the mayor and the clerk. So how many signatures are needed by the city of Dalton? Put it in the chat. How many signatures are needed on every check in the signature in the city of Dalton finances? How many signatures? Drop it in the chat. I think we all heard it. Just drop it in there. Flood it in there. I would love to see how many signatures are needed. Wait till you see what she did. I mean, how bad this story is really just it's amazing. Like, somebody asked, like, how is she not in jail? I don't understand it. I do not understand how this woman is not in jail just on GP alone, just on general purposes. Why is this woman not in jail? It's amazing. It baffles the mind. So I see tons of people. There we go. Two signatures. Wait till you see this. And wait. How much do you think this check is that we're going to talk about? Because you already know. I already spoiled it. Y'all already know she signed a check by herself. I would love, in the chat, there we go. How much do you think this check was for? How much? I want to see, just real quick. Everybody agrees it was 2 signatures. Absolutely. 2 signatures. Absolutely. I want to know, how much do you think this check is for? I can't imagine. Wait till you see this check. But how much do you think this check was for? She P Diddy. She P Diddying that money away for sure. All right. 150K. All right. I like it. 150K is solid. That's a good one. What y'all think? How much do you think this check is going to be for? Okay, Susie, come on. You got to put a comma in there and a dollar sign. Come on. Too much. How much? Too much 99. Absolutely. 100K. I got you. 100K. Okay, got you. I like it. I like it. Too much. An unlawful amount. 6 figures. Okay, I see what you're doing there. I see what you did there. $500,000. Okay, 30,000, 100,000, if not more. Okay, wait till you see this number. $250,000. Y'all, I can't imagine. I'm baffled. Rick, come on, bro. 20. Come on, Rick. You got to step that game. You must have accidentally not hit a 0, my friend. $2 million. 750. Okay. I think it's probably 100 plus. Okay. Was it before her trip to? No, this was actually before her trip to Vegas. Because that's actually where she got. Robin is kind of aware, so she got really picked up on the news cycle because she took several trustees that were supporting her to Vegas, and they just spent money like crazy. I mean, it was embarrassing, and they brought no receipts back. Like, they just paid the bill. Like, don't ask me what I did. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It was crazy. All right, 200,000. All right, way too much with no accountability. Well, see, somebody already said accountability is a 4-letter word. All right, watch this. Watch how much this check is.
Signatures required are a combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have a $500,000 check signed by Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Look at that. Let me write that in there. $561,821.45. Your boy got the 45 cents right. That's how big that check is. And notice there's only one signature on it. Yo, she is wild. How is she not in jail? How is she not in jail? Now, mind you, she writes the check and then the company sends it to the company and the company cashes it. And that's when the trustees found out about it after it had already been cashed. $500,000. And there's no two signatures. There's two signature lines right there. And there's only one signature on there. Now, granted, I don't think the bank should have accepted this check because there's only one signature. In my opinion, they shouldn't have accepted it. But I mean, she wrote it, and therein is the problem that's bigger than that. I do think the safeguards should have been in place, that a check this large should have been checked, and it probably says on the back, void if not signed with two signatures. The checks I signed for our church have that on the back of it, so you can't actually give a check without two signatures on it. So I don't, for the life of me. But let's let her go. Let's go. This is Tiffany Henyard, y'all. We're going to probably be talking about her in April. So I just want to give you an update on her so you can kind of be up to speed. And trust me, this is not even the beginning of the foolishness.
Y'all wonder why we worried about the money? This is why we worried about the money. $561,000 check with one signature on there. It's a problem. That means that money is being spent, and after we don't find out till after the check's been cashed. That's why we up here complaining.
So as you can see from that clip, checks are going out that are not approved properly by the village. The clerk's signature is required on all checks. The trustees are also suing for access to financial records. They say that Mayor Henyard restricted their access to the village financial records and that this is a violation of not only their local law, but of state law. And they also claim they have an earlier court decision that forced the mayor to give them access to financial records. Court documents also allege that the mayor essentially committed fraud, that in 2021 and 2022, the mayor used the stamp of the clerk's signature to issue checks not approved by the village board.
Yo.
Here's Trustee Jason House explaining it.
Anyone else?
Can I be recognized?
Go ahead, Trustee.
Thank you very much. My comment is kind of, I guess, geared more towards some of the comments that were made at the town hall meeting, in particular some of the statements about why the board has taken, or I'll even say for myself, why I may have taken some of the positions that I have in terms of what has been done wrong. Most recently, and I'll just go back to the last 3 months, manual checks are checks that are just written for spontaneous things or things that are emergencies that were unplanned for. In the month of February, there are $125,000 worth of manual checks written. Those should be presented to the board, approved, and issued out. In February, that did not occur. In March, the board did not receive a warrant list. That warrant list was $2.1 million worth of spending. In order to spend money, so in order for the board to approve it, we should have got that, reviewed it, been able to make the proper approvals, or not, and that information was not presented for the board to even make that decision. More than that, the process for checks, because this is all set up on checks and balances. In writing the checks for $125,000 worth of checks, as well as $2 million worth of checks, there should be 2 signatures on every check. The authorized signers on our bank account are the mayor and the clerk. For the month of February and March, the clerk's stamp was used without her authorization to sign $2 million worth of bills that were not properly presented to the board. In the month of April, again, the warrant list or the information was not presented to the board. That's $1.8 million worth of spending.
Crazy.
Now, I would take from what I've seen that at least using the clerk's stamp without her authority was recognized or changed, because this time the checks were signed only with the mayor's signature on it, without the 2 signatures required for the necessary checks and balances. In total, that's $4 million in the last 3 months spent without the appropriate checks and balances. So that's one, what I would say, glaring. Well, the spending of the money and the use of somebody's signature without their authorization, right? There are two main issues that I had a big concern with that were not spoken about, or it says, why are things happening the way they are? I think many people have seen the meeting, so they've seen a lot of the back and forths, and I just want to go over high level because I want to make sure we're talking about big ticket issues, and to me that's significant.
Now, because of those facts, here's what the board was asking the court to do. First, the board asked the court to enjoin the mayor from acting beyond her authority, essentially injunctive relief. Next, the board asked the court to issue a writ of mandamus to the mayor. Now, for those of you who don't know, the writ of mandamus was made famous in a case called Marbury v. Madison, for you law nerds out there. Now, a writ of mandamus is when the court forces a public official to do something that they have no choice but to do. In this case, Tiffany Henyard has no choice but to turn over the financial documents to the trustees. So the trustees want the court to issue that writ so they can have access to the financial documents, essentially forcing Tiffany Henyard, the mayor, to give the documents to them. The trustees are also asking for a declaratory judgment and a full accounting of the village's finances. So then Mayor Tiffany Henyard filed a motion to dismiss, saying that the trustees were not entitled to any of this information. Now, the court sided with the trustees, claiming that the mayor had to give a full accounting to the trustees about the village's finances. Now, when it comes to the writ of mandamus to force the mayor to turn over all the financial documents, the court said, hold on. The mayor's the wrong person. The court said that the village trustees needed to sue the village's treasurer or the business manager, because that's the person who has custody of the documents and whose duty it is to not only hold the documents, but then present the documents to the trustees. Now, since the treasurer was not a party to the lawsuit, the judge said you need to go back and add the treasurer to the lawsuit so I can issue the writ of mandamus so you can get the documents. Here is trustee Jason House explaining it.
Currently the finance director is the one that's being charged. The accounting firm reports to the finance director, and the finance director is the gatekeeper of information. So I believe there's a block in that area. And we recently, and when I say recent,
think about how much you have to go through in order to just be able to do your job correctly. Because when they had a previous mayor, they didn't have to do this. And the previous mayor, if I'm not mistaken, was there like 30 years or something like that. He'd been there for a long time. So some of these people weren't even born by the time this dude had been in office. But needless to say, the previous mayor, it seemed like they didn't have this problem before until they got this new mayor in, who she was a DEI hire. I've seen the interview with the gentleman that proposed that she become the supervisor of the township, of Thornton Township. They just wanted somebody who would check boxes. And I hate to say it like that, but she checked all the boxes, and that's why she was a supervisor. And she got this role right here out of, again, they wanted to check boxes, and that's how she became the mayor of Dalton. And they're regretting it now, of course, but let's let her finish up. Jason, finish up.
Recently, this morning, won a court case that indicated, one, that the clerk key was wrongfully removed from the bank account and should be reinstated to the bank account. Part 2 of the case indicated that the financial information that we are not being given, the board is entitled to it. They did indicate, even that we're entitled to it, that the lawsuit should have been inclusive of it says treasurer is the actual word, which in this case is our finance director. So I believe with the court order, we may see some movement. I believe the accounting firm at this time, which I do agree, I'm in agreement. I would like for them to provide us with that information. I think it's kind of a tricky scenario, and I believe the information will be forthcoming with the proper order from the court. So that would be my thought or ask of reconsideration.
So as you just heard, the court also ordered that the clerk be put back on all the bank accounts. Now, this will stop Henyard in her tracks, because to now spend any of the village's money, she needs the clerk's signature. So this ruling was extremely positive for the Board of Trustees. They got the clerk back on the bank accounts. They got to stop Tiffany Henyard from spending money willy-nilly, and they get a full accounting of the records to find out what's actually going on. Now, hopefully, by the next board meeting, we'll finally have that information and we'll know what is going on behind the scenes. Tiffany Henyard, the walls are closing in. The FBI, the state AG, and now you have this judge saying, hey, you have to turn over everything to the Board of Trustees. It's the law. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Let me.
All right, thanks, Nate. Now, I wanted to bring this up because Nate kind of let the cat out the bag. He said, hopefully for the next board meeting. Well, it's gotten so bad that the village trustees have started their own YouTube channel and they stream all of their meetings on YouTube. And if I'm not mistaken, their next meeting is Monday. It's Monday or Tuesday. I'll make sure you all know. But I think it's going to be interesting. Like tons of people are supporting them and encouraging them and such like that. And it's just wild to see, like, why don't you want to, and again, keep in mind, this is not a metropolitan. It's a small little hamlet. 20,000 people live in Dalton. We're not talking about a high socioeconomic place at all. It's south of Chicago. I mean, that's what we're talking about. So it is the wildest thing. So anyway, hopefully we'll have some good news on Monday or Tuesday during the next board meeting that things have started to turn around, but we'll probably be talking about it. So that's why I wanted to bring this up today. So, all right, I see lots of you all talking about suing the bank. And I kind of understand. I definitely think the bank has some fault. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, she was using the rubber stamp of the clerk. I mean, this is the kind of person that she is. So I'm not even certain that even if there were two signatures on there, she was rubber stamping them and still, being unaccountable, which is craziness. And you'll see if you follow the Trustees of Dalton YouTube channel, these men and women really want the best for Dalton, Illinois. Many of them are Dalton natives. They were born and raised there, and they want the best. Tiffany was born and raised there, and they want the very best for that community, is not out seeking for themselves. And it's really sad to see, but hopefully it will be encouraged. There'll be something encouraging that comes out of it on whenever the next day. Thank you so much. I knew it. I knew she was going to do it. Susie's already dropped the link in there if you want to follow a little bit more if you're interested in the story. I think it's very interesting. So please check it out right there. Tiffany has a large corrupt crew. Yeah, I mean, when you find out like the whole police department is only like, don't quote me on this, I want to say it's like 45 police officers. And the mayor of a 20,000 person town has like 8 police officers monitoring her daily, 24 hours. Like 8? And they're getting this crazy overtime. They're getting, it's bananas. But yeah, so she's not doing this by herself, by no means. Tiffany will have a complete meltdown, hopefully on camera. That will be kind of wild. Trust me, we'll be watching for sure. All right, let's go. Tiffany was arrested in 2016. That's right, on criminal trespass of vehicles, basically breaking into cars. That's 2016. Now, almost 8 years later, she's the mayor and the supervisor of another township. That is crazy. All these DEI hires act like gangbangers. That is interesting. It is true, though. I don't think the bank is at fault, Amber says, because she had made an order putting just herself as a signatory. That's what the trustee took her to the court over. And I understand the initial one where they were reading about the check, the $500,000 check, that wasn't the case. So there should have been 2 signatures on there. Now, she did subsequently remove the trustee or the finance person's name off there, which I don't know how that was even possible, because whenever we remove somebody's name off of the bank account for my church, we all have to re-sign the document. So when we take Deacon, this person off, we all got to re-sign it again. So if we add somebody, we got to all sign it again. It's a hassle. So I don't know how she was able to do that. But that's why I think the bank, if nothing else, the bank needs to put new stop measures in place, because clearly she's exploiting a hole in the system. No, they can't account. That's part of the problem. There's bills that have not been getting paid, vehicles that are being threatened to be repossessed. It's craziness. I'm telling you, look into it. You'll be like, what in the world are we seeing? And I want you to know, Tiffany Henyard, there's multiples of her around the United States. It's crazy. Tiffany is just the most grossest example, but yeah, there's a lot of them around. So I thought it was super interesting, and I just wanted to, because I figure if I'm going to talk about it or if it's going to come up again, because hopefully she'll be going to jail, and we can get some video and some commentary on her getting perp walked out of town hall into the jail. That would be the right thing to do. But if I brought it up, I just want to make sure that you all were aware, so it wasn't something you're like, who is this person Jason's talking about? What's going on here? Yeah, like it's a big deal, Melissa. I know for us, it's a big deal for our church to take names off. So we're always dreading it when new deacons are brought on and old deacons roll off the diaconate. We're always like, oh man, like at least the bank could come over here because it's not too far from the church. Like, can y'all come over here and get these things signed? But we got to get over there and get them signed. It's a hassle. It is a super hassle. But yeah. All right. So we've talked about P Diddy, crazy banana story. We talked about Tiffany Henyard. That's another story. It's like, man, this thing is cuckoo, man. And I guess that was all that was happening in the month of March. Not a lot, nothing else happened in the month of March at all. No other big cases, no other big stories. It's just those two stories, really. No, you know better, people. You know better.
In the heart of Georgia, where politics and justice intertwine, a storm is brewing. Welcome to As the Peach Turns. Fani Willis, once a rising legal star, now finds herself at the center of a legal firestorm. Accusations of misconduct and ethical breaches have cast a shadow over her career. As the investigation intensifies, the stakes couldn't be higher. Join us as we unravel the tangled web of power, ambition, and justice in this episode of As the Peach Turns.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't let you down. We got to do it. We got to talk about Fani. We cannot let Fani get away without us talking about her on today. So yes, the month of March was crazy, from the disqualification hearing to the decision, to the appeal, the issues with the Bar Association, to now the First Amendment. Yo, can you realize that this has only been this month? I mean, there's been so much that happened in February. Every month is jam-packed. Oh, and by the way, the Court of Appeals has said that they're going to take 45 days to decide if they want to hear the case of the appeal. So 45 days. If you do the math, if Monday is the 1st, that's all of April and almost a quarter or better than half of the month of May. That means they will not have selected a jury. This case will not see the light of day in 2024 at all. I'm going to go big and I'm going to say 2026 at best, if possible. Because again, if Trump is elected, this whole thing goes in trash. This whole thing is for naught. If Trump is not elected, it's still going to take forever, and there's still going to be no motivation for it. There'll be no motivation after that. But yeah, so this is wild. And I do want to shout out Keith Briggins right here. Kevin Briggins, I'm saying where Keith from. He says, we need to do a super team live stream. DWC, Off Code, Caldwell Apologetics, K-Dub, and April Chapman. It will be so. Absolutely. If you like that idea, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. If you like that idea, can I get a fire emoji in the chat? Let's see how we do, Kevin. If the interest is there, we'll make it happen. Let's see if the interest is there. Indeed. If you like that idea of Caldwell Apologetics, pull that back up. DWC, pull that back up, my guy. If you like this idea, let's go ahead and let's see what the chat is feeling. Are they feeling this idea? I'm feeling it. I think it'd be a great idea. All right, the emojis are coming in slowly but surely. Some reason or another, my live chat is not showing up. All right, it's looking like people want that to happen. Man, a flaming peach emoji would be so boss right now. Oh my gosh, that would be great, man. All right, we got to find a way to make a flaming peach emoji. Oh, if you know how to make custom emojis, because I realized I can make custom emojis for this channel, and I just don't know how to do them. I do know how. I understood a little bit. Anyway, if you know how to make custom emojis, hit me up. Okay, I think the overall consensus, the general consensus, is that this needs to happen, Kevin Briggins. So we'll jump on a call and we'll talk about it and coordinate it, because I would absolutely love it. We can get on there and talk about it for sure. I absolutely love it. That's a great idea. Excellent thought. A little civil discourse. I mean, we're just going to chop it up. I think that'd be great. Maybe talk about some topics, whatever like that. Get as many people on as possible. I'm all about it. I love it. The art, and I like this right here. Mike Williams said, the art of DEI elected people that doesn't have experience. And that is a very keen problem, because they're not looking at a meritocracy. They're not looking at what you've accomplished, but rather who you are. So do you check enough boxes? And then that's the way and the reason that we decide to move you into this role. So no, I think that's a great catch, my friend. Excellent catch. I think it's fair to say that the overall consensus is that we need to do a super meetup, and I'm all about it. So let me know. Kevin, we'll coordinate after the live, maybe jump on a stream or something like that and kind of coordinate with the others. But I'm all about it. I think that'd be a great idea. All right. So let's bring this all up to speed on Fani Willis and what's going on with the Willis and all of these shenanigans. And then we're going to get ready. I got one more thing to talk about. Then we're going to get ready to bug out of here. So let's go.
We are following the latest in the Fulton County District Attorney disqualification saga.
It is the first hearing since the judge decided to leave left-leaning anti-Trump District Attorney Fani Willis on the case. Of course, there was a catch. Fani Willis had to ditch her former lover and lead prosecutor Nathan Wade. She called him a Southern gentleman, and he was cheating on his wife with Fani. Anyway, with Wade gone, the case moves on.
A judge in Georgia heard arguments over whether former President Donald Trump's speech was protected by his First Amendment rights. The hearing is part of the former president's election interference case. Trump's lawyers argued that the charges against him are an effort to criminalize, they say, political speech.
Arguments are underway on motions to dismiss the case from Trump's attorneys and one of the co-defendants. Trump wants to throw the case out entirely. His attorneys cite the First Amendment and argue since he served as president, Trump's speech is political speech. That's the most protected type of speech under the Constitution. One of Trump's co-defendants' attorneys with this.
We've got the freedom to associate, the freedom to petition the government, the freedom to speak. So all of this conduct that's part of this indictment is really covered by the First Amendment. And if you think about it, it makes sense that a judge should be the one that protects that right, because you shouldn't have to go in front of a jury to protect your constitutional rights.
Senior correspondent Jonathan Siri is outside the courthouse. Jonathan.
Good morning, Harris. In addition to that First Amendment issue regarding former President Trump, that attorney we just saw representing one of the co-defendants also took issue with the wording of the indictment. Take a listen.
When you look at the indictment, you see a lot of language that says fake electors, things like that, duly elected, fraudulent, and those are legal conclusions. And so we're trying to have those dismissed, saying that the state can't just put those legal conclusions in there. That's something that a jury has to decide.
This is the first hearing in the Georgia Trump case since March 15, when Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade resigned from the case as a condition for District Attorney Fani Willis to continue prosecuting it.
He was more involved, I think, with witnesses and negotiating plea agreements. Very important work, but it's not the kind of stuff that we would see in the courtroom in oral arguments day in and day out. So I don't anticipate, anything really changing in terms of how the district attorney presents their case in the courtroom.
Yeah, and several defense attorneys have said that the judge's ruling earlier this month didn't go far enough by giving Fani Willis that option to remain on the case. And so the defense is expected to appeal that judge's order. Harris?
All right, Jonathan, thank you very much. Andrew Truskowski is here, former federal prosecutor and U.S. military veteran. Great to see you today. All right, so we're back in court on this one. What do you think about Trump and the co-defendants' argument about the most protected type of speech political speech?
Well, today is all about the First Amendment, and these are things that I argue all the time in court when the argument of the prosecution is all based on what Donald Trump said. We have to look at what the First Amendment really protects, and it protects everything that is short of it being criminal speech, and so that includes wrong speech, it includes outrageous speech, it includes ridiculous speech. So when Donald Trump is engaged back a few years ago in his discussions about the election and the outcome of that election, the prosecution has to do more than just prove that he was wrong in his statements. That speech has to actually attenuate to criminal conduct, and that criminal conduct can't just be circular speech in its right. It's like if you rob a bank, the direction to somebody to rob a bank, that could be criminal, but simply saying, I would like $100,000 isn't criminal speech, even if you say it in an aggressive or a directed tone. And then
Okay, I might have to disagree because I need 4 more people to like this video. I have 46 people liking this video. Is that aggressive speech or is that political speech? What is that? I don't know. Give me 4 more people to like the video. I really do appreciate it though. Let's go. Let's go.
Put that into a political bubble, and that's even more protected because people who are engaged in that political speech are allowed to say things that really do butt up against the fringe.
That seems basic.
It does seem basic.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you think it'll take to make that basic argument?
Well, the argument's already going on in court right now, and the judge is actually in a tough position because when the judge rules on that in the course of a criminal trial is not very clear. There's kind of, can you look at it just based on the indictment alone and the judge make a ruling, or does the judge have to actually have facts come in during the course of the trial and then make that ruling as the facts develop? And so that's kind of the tough place. I think right now we're in a premature place to see the judge come back with a particularly dramatic ruling for Donald Trump, and he has ruled against some of the co-defendants on a similar motion in the past.
Interesting. You know, he has to be one of the most recorded people right now on the planet in terms of his speech, Donald Trump, whenever he speaks. So I can't imagine that they need very many facts brought into the case on whether or not he actually engages in political speech.
Well, I see that point. The point being, though, that
I mean, I'm not trying to argue his case. I'm just stating the facts.
Absolutely. I mean, we know what he said, and I think it's very clear what he said. The question is, does that actually violate the law? That was the argument this morning as to whether the judge can reach that determination at this point. I mean, Donald Trump has repeatedly said that this is protected speech, and there's very strong arguments for that. But we have to turn back to how the criminal code actually applies to the judge looking at that, and this may not be the point that happens.
Last quick one on this. Fani Willis, they can appeal. What do you think happens with that?
Well, there's the appellate court, I think, is going to defer ultimately to what the trial judge said. But the trial judge in this case, when you look at the ruling that he reached, he is very critical of the law, kind of confused as to what the precedent is. He says that effectively in his motion, in his ruling, and he also says that he isn't particularly confident in his ruling, or at least words to essentially communicate that. So I think the appellate court is going to see that language and really step in to make sure that they are either supporting the ruling that he made or draw some sort of line in the sand as to where the law perhaps needs to be clarified. So we're at least a couple of months away from hearing a decision from the appellate court on that. They have 45 days to actually reach their determination as to whether they're going to make that decision. But the appellate court does have an important point here to make, because the trial judge seemed uncertain, and we need further clarification. And that's why the trial judge certified that to the appellate court, I think.
That's so interesting. Well, she did kick her ex off the case, so we'll see how the case holds together.
Okay, so I do want to stop right there. I think that was interesting. So you heard him say 45 days, and the actual 45-day clock hasn't actually started, I don't think. So this could easily go until the end of May, easily, before we get any kind of real decision. That is crazy. So then let's just say the end of May. So we got June, July, August, September, October, November. Then there's only 6 months before the election.
Mr. Gillen, your last motion we had for today. I have oh, sure.
60 seconds.
Sure, have at it.
The state did not and cannot answer the direct question about a violation of the safe harbor rule, why that would allow that situation to give the governor or the Secretary of State any authority to do anything. That comes in under several of the arguments that we've made. I won't repeat it, but they simply, their argument is, let's put an agent up and ask the agent whether or not he had authority. No. By law, by federal law, they did not have the authority. It's not whether some GBI agent thinks that he can come in here and tell the jury, pay no attention to federal law, pay no attention to the dissenting opinion in Bush v. Gore, pay no attention to that. I'm a GBI agent. I say we can do it. That's wrong. Yeah. They lose there because the law is very, very, very clear. And we can go back and we'll both the state and I know the Schaefer team will go back to look at our argument that we made to the court. When my recollection could be wrong, I don't think so. We'll see. But my recollection was because the pleading was a part of the court system that we had a citation which permitted the court to take that into consideration as part of the record and thus not going outside of the record for speaking demur. I could be wrong, but we'll get that to you quickly because that, and they latch onto that to say, pay no attention to the reality of what happened in this courthouse, in the court filings, which destroys their argument. And so with that, Your Honor, I'll sit down and then I'll go back and get my other folder.
So I think it goes without saying that there's some level of privilege that you have in political speech, especially when you are a political person. But let's let him finish.
Last motion here.
He ready to go.
With the First Amendment issue, I think we need to figure out where we are procedurally. Federally, it sounds like, this would be a pretty common motion. It'd be a surplusage motion. Georgia, it's not quite as clear for us. So, excuse me. Let's start with just the authority to kind of take a scalpel to an indictment and cut out things we don't like.
Well, I mean, Your Honor, we talk about there's two components to this motion. One, there's the strike surplusage, and then there's a dismissal that we asked for, which is kind of also a component of the other. Now, we cite the State v. Corin on the issue of being able to, the allegation, the indictment is not wholly unnecessary to constitute an offense as mere surplusage. We think...
Right. But when we read the surplusage opinions, we're talking about, a miscited code section or a wrong date or something like that. So I don't know. I don't think that's what you're characterizing.
No. I guess this is where I'm.
It's more just a legal conclusion, right?
Let me. A legal conclusion, number one, but it's even more than that. It's this. When they continually in their pleadings, in the indictment, in their pleadings, in their extrajudicial comments that they make, they have bombarded the defendants, the electors in this case, with the concept of and the phrase of fake electors. Now that is not, that is a description, a conclusion, and a pejorative description.
So it's a legal conclusion you very much disagree with. It's the core of your defense.
I think it's not only a legal conclusion, but it's also something that should be stricken because it is just a pejorative statement. I'm not saying. I'm saying. I can call you something really nasty in an indictment, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a legal conclusion about your violation of a particular law. And so that's what we have here. And we have this permeating this case.
Well, I'm just trying to, again, based on what we've seen and is allowable in Georgia, let's just make it simpler. If in a murder indictment someone's alleged to have acted with malice aforethought, that's a legal conclusion.
Well, that's right.
And it's something that the defendant may really have an issue with. But we don't strike it. We just go forward and we go to trial.
Different world, different cases, not the point that I'm trying to make. What I'm trying to make is, and you put in malice aforethought because you put that in there to define the terms.
Sure. What about this one? There's one I remember when we talk about nicknames and aliases, and I remember
not nicknames.
from the 90s, they put in an alias of Stomper, and he had beat the defendant to death.
Well,
and the Supreme Court said, that's okay.
You know why? Because they probably proved that there was an alias of that guy called Stomper. That's different than
At trial. The state's saying we're going to prove that you're
I
unlawful
think,
elector.
Well, no. In this indictment, what they have done in the indictment, it's not necessary if they want to, and we think it should be stricken. We think the count should be dismissed. We know that based upon the case law that we've cited. But in closing arguments, Lord forbid we ever get to closing arguments. Hope we don't. But if we did, and they stood up and they said, well, we think that they were fake. We think the evidence shows that they were fake electors. That's one thing. That's argument. That's advocacy.
Right.
There's no place for it in the indictment, and there's no place for it in what they have done, not only in the indictment, but in their pleadings and statements they've made outside to the media. What they have tried to do is they want to have ingrained in the minds of the community and of jurors a concept that if you were not a Democratic elector on December the 14th, casting your vote at some other part of the state capitol, then you are a fake elector.
Right.
And that is a pejorative term, not necessary for the charges, and should be stricken. That's the point that we're trying to make. And as it relates to our other arguments concerning the dismissal of those counts, I don't think I need to go back over most of my argument, or our argument on that really deals with the Electoral Count Act, so I don't think I need to revisit that in case the court
we'll get there.
really wants to hear that again. I don't think you do. But absent that, Your Honor, we think, number one, that the count should be dismissed for the reasons articulated earlier and in our pleading, and number two, that even if the counts are dismissed, in addition to that, references throughout the indictment to fake electors should be stricken as well. Thank you.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gillen.
Attorneys for Donald Trump were inside the Fulton County Courthouse today asking the judge to dismiss the charges against the former president.
When you look at the allegations against President Trump, all of the allegations involved expressive conduct or speech.
Mr. Trump's defense attorney, Steve Sadow, argued Thursday that the former president's allegedly criminal conduct was actually political speech related to the 2020 election. That speech, he claimed, was protected by the First Amendment, and he argued that protection should compel Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee to dismiss the former president's charges.
It's unconstitutional to force an accused, be it the President of the United States, former president, or anyone else, to stand trial on protected speech.
But prosecutors countered that the First Amendment does not give blanket protection to all types of speech.
Speech integral to criminal conduct is not protected. What we have heard here today is an attempt to rewrite the indictment, to take out the parts that are inconvenient and only say, well, it's all speech, it's all talking, and he was just a guy asking questions, and not someone who was part of an overarching criminal conspiracy trying to overturn election results for an election he did not win.
Emory law professor John Acevedo says the First Amendment's protections are broad.
Political speech is the most protected. It's usually referred to as the core of the First Amendment.
But he said he expects Judge McAfee to side with the state on this issue.
I think he's likely to allow the case to proceed. We had the District of Columbia case proceed already over this sort of challenge. That said, this is likely to be an issue that gets appealed should former President Trump and the co-defendants be convicted.
The decision, of course, is ultimately up to Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee. This morning in court, he did not give a timeline on when he may rule, so at least for right now, no indication on what he may decide. Of course, we will track it all as it develops.
All right. So that's an update on where they are so far. So that'll be the end of the week. They're still wrangling about free speech or freedom of speech and First Amendment rights. So hopefully we will, hopefully they'll get to a place of conclusion. But if Scott McAfee doesn't have a timeline to decide when he's going to decide, oh my goodness, that is going to be bananas. Wow. Hey, so I dropped a poll in the chat and I asked you all, do you think this trial is going to see the light of day? Yes or no? And then I asked you to put a sun emoji if you think it will, in fact, get to the light of day, or a moon emoji if you say no, or you can type sun or moon. Either one is fine. But it looks like the overall consensus, let me just look at the poll. The overall consensus seems to be negative. Now, a lot of people are believing that this thing is going to get to the finish line, or actually get to the starting blocks. Never even gets to the starting block. So Willie Doc says, won't see the light of day. Willie's not very confident about this thing. That's unfortunate, my friend. Very unfortunate. Why are you so negative, man? You gotta be positive, man. You gotta be positive, man, because they say so. All right, real quick. And yes, I do realize there is early voting. That's true. I've been only focusing on November voting, but yes, there is early voting as well. All right, let's see what this poll, how does it look in? If you haven't already, 16% say yes. And my question is, will the case ever get to trial? They say yes, and 84%. Well, when would that be? If it's after Trump is already, after the next presidential cycle is over, then it's beside the point. All right, what do we have going on in this chat right here? All right, let's see. So I see a lot of conversation going on about this Stormy Daniels case. There's that as well. Forgot about that. So if you want, I know Q is going to probably be talking about it. Q, make sure you drop your link to your channel, Q's Corner. She's starting out in these YouTube streets or suburbs, these YouTube suburbs, talking about these type of topics. So she likes that law and crime type of deal. So she's really a big advocate for that, and she's going to do a great job. So please check her out and see what she's doing over there. Drop your link in the chat, my friend. Drop it in there. You don't think Fani will give up on the case, but will the case get scuttled? I think she will. I think she will give up on it because it will be thrown out. I think she's trying to just create a situation where she can leave out on her shield rather than leave out face down. So I think that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to create an environment where it looks like she's a winner, like she tried her best. She fought till the end, blah, blah, blah. That's what I think she's trying to do. That's my perception of it. What's going on, Eric? Good to see you, brother. Grace and peace. All right. Rounding the bases. If you didn't hang out with us last night, stay along to the end. We got something fun for you at the end. But before we get too far afield, I want to go over something that I thought would be fun, because I've been getting into this whole legal aspect, if you will. And I thought it would be fun to kind of tell you some of the legal minds that I've been following, and just let you see who they are. If you don't already know who these men and women are, it might be good for you to check them out as well. So first of all, we got Inside the Law, Phil Holloway, and he is an attorney here in Marietta, Georgia, down the street and around the corner from Podium Studios. An excellent mind, and I really think he's kind of kicked off a lot of our thinking in this regard on this case, because he's been a talking head everywhere. So if you're familiar with him or you're not familiar with him, he's a great legal mind, and I think you'll get a lot out of him. So there you go. First of all, Phil. Next, you guys love this guy, and I have to agree with you. Viva Frei. He's a super energetic attorney. I think he's in Canada or was from Canada. He now lives in Florida, I believe it is. And he just has a great perspective on all of these cases. He gives usually daily and sometimes hourly, several times a day, updates. And he does a great live stream with another content creator. I think it's called, hey, there's Phil right there. what is this called? His coworker, his colleague. I don't see the name of it. Should have pulled that up before I got on here, Jason. Let's see real quick. And I forgot. Viva and Barnes. There we go. The Viva and Barnes is the name of their legal Eagle show. It's called Viva and Barnes. And just really insightful guy. I think you'll enjoy him. So check him out over there. And all you guys and gals know about Professor Nez. I just think this topic of law can be so dry and boring, but having somebody who does it with a lot of passion and excitement and all of that kind of stuff is a winner. So this is Professor Nez. I've actually talked to him. I've also talked to Phil Holloway, and he is a top tier guy. So check out what he's doing over there. He's got a lot of passion, a lot of excitement. Some of the colloquialisms that you hear people mention have come from Professor Nez, like Scott Sadow, the pit bull. That's from him and such like that. But he's just a great mind. And he just presents it in such a fun and whimsical way that really makes it fun. And so that's why I like Professor Nez. So shout out to Professor Nez. Now we're getting into the deep weeds here. AV to the seventh power. You all know AV. She sits second chair with the lead attorney. And she just has a great perspective. She is a law school graduate. I don't think she's actually an attorney yet, or I don't know if she's going to sit for the bar, but she just has an excellent approach as a younger person and how they see the law is fantastic. So AV to the seventh power, you're welcome to check her out. If you do say, hey, I forgot who she is, don't worry, because you're going to probably see her on the next guy's channel once or twice, and that is the good guy, Nate the Lawyer. I love Nate the Lawyer. Actually, he was one of the first channels I found a long time ago because he was talking about critical race theory and such like that. And I think that he does a fantastic job. And I bring him up a lot because he does a great job of like bringing you up to speed. So he'll take all of that information, bring you up to speed about Tiffany Henyard, or all of the information, bring you up to date with Fani Willis, or all of the information, bring you up to date on P Diddy. And you'll feel like, yo, I got this, and let me go. So he's excellent at that. So I really want you to check him out. I think you'll enjoy him. And I think that's all. Oh, wait, there's one more. The lead attorney. All right. I'm gonna just tell you right now, I don't stand by lead attorney's language at all. So I think that's already understood. But you got to give the man his props. Got to give him his flowers. He does an excellent job of making and taking these boring topics, these non-salacial topics, and making them super engaging, very entertaining, and you'll learn something from him. So AV to the seventh power usually sits second chair with the lead attorney. And again, he's not a believer. He's not a Christian, but he does give you that information in a very clear and succinct way. You got to take it. You got to give him his flowers. So I find him interesting. I like what he does. And so that's why I wanted to bring him in and just give you a chance to check out some of the channels that I peep when I'm checking the traps. These are some of the people that I check out, and I wanted to give you kind of like an inside scoop. These are some of the men and women that I follow that have helped me with my Fani Willis information, that have helped me with the Tiffany Henyard, that are helping me with the P Diddy information as well. So if you do go by there, let them know that Dear Woke Christian sent you. Shout out to them. I do realize that I wanted to give you a wide selection because I know some people don't like one of the particular content creators, or they might like another one. And that's perfectly fine. So I just figured I'd give you some of the ones that I've been checking out. This is 6. There's probably a few more that I check out, but I figured it would be beneficial to you all to have some options if you needed them. If you want to follow some of these cases, I'm sure as the Fani Willis and Trump case revs up, if the Stormy Daniels case is being live streamed, the YSL case, for crying out loud, Phil Holloway giving commentary on the YSL case is top tier comedy. Let me tell you that right now, because he's hilarious, man. And he's just not, I mean, he's a Southern guy, and him explaining the YSL case is top tier comedy. I love it. So I'm hoping that you all got something out of that. And if nothing else, somebody else that you can check out and peep and such like that. I think at the end of the day, you'll benefit from it. And all right. So let me see real quick. It looks like lots of people have said that, hey, they've been following these people. Thank you for sharing them with me. I love it. There are definitely some other ones. Viva has a podcast called The Unusual Suspects. Thank you so much, Susie, and moderators for dropping those links in the chat. Thank you so much. That's a great question, Eric. Q, when's your next live stream? What's going on? When are you going to do a live stream, Q? What's up? I think we should harass her. Let me see. Don't ignore that question, Q. When's your live stream? When you doing? Oh, here it is. Q says, I want to have one in the next couple of weeks. I need to get my thoughts together for this one, for the first one. We'll be scheduling soon. Have a few more videos that I'm dropping next week. All right, that's fair. Okay. Before tax day, you need to have something scheduled. So tax day is the 15th. So you need to have something scheduled, Q. Come on, make it happen. I love it. I love it. We'll be glad to be there to be in the chat, because I will rent the best live stream to you in the world. I'll rent it out to you. Absolutely. The rogue lawyer, Philip Mayer, high-profile defense attorney out of Canada. Brilliant analysis. Okay. What's up with all these attorneys in Canada? That is so interesting. Okay. I harass Q thoroughly. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. For anyone that did not hang out with us last night, we did a live stream last night talking about Fani Willis saying she's going to talk about race issues. I don't care if you tell her to stop. She's going to talk about them. And at the end of that, I did what I'm going to call the closing credits. So I'm going to try to do it. I can't promise I'm going to do it every time. But instead of just ending the live stream, I'm going to start playing a closing video that will allow you all time to finish up your conversations, catch the links that moderators are putting up, anything of that nature, and whatnot, and you get a little time to break it down. But then also, if you want to, the videos should be something that's informative or that you get some value out of. So many of you all heard in my opening monologue that I said that I opened up a podcast studio. And so, yes, I opened up a podcast studio in Marietta, Georgia. It is called Podium Studios with another brother of mine from church. And what I want to do is give you a little walkthrough. So if you were with us last night, I kind of demoed this to you and just try to make sure it worked right. So I think I got it working right still, Lord willing. So we're going to see, and I'm going to pull it in and let's see what kind of, and this will be the closing sequence. So you got a couple minutes to kind of wrap up. If you want to keep talking, feel free. If not, you can definitely clock on out. But with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I don't know why, but my closing video is not playing now. And I had it working perfectly before show. Okay, let's try again. I don't know why. It was working perfectly right before the live stream. But it's always something to keep you humble, I tell you that much. So anyway, I appreciate it. I don't know why it's not functioning, and I don't want to hold y'all hostage over that, because now I got to go find out why it's not working right. But I think, let me try this. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know why it won't play. Oh, well, I tried. Always something to learn. Always something to learn. But I do appreciate you all on this evening. The goal was to give you like a little closing ending of the video, if you will, so you had time to end the live chat, all that kind of good jazz like that. I'll get it figured out, and we'll do it on when we do our next live stream. It will definitely work by then. Anyway, it did work perfect last night. I have no idea. It didn't work fine. And it did work an hour or so ago when I was testing it out and had it all queued up perfectly. I don't know what happened. I'm going to blame it on me, because there's a lot of bells and whistles over here that I could have ruined or messed up in all these videos that I've shown. So I probably threw something off and it is not working correctly, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not even playing. Oh, low down. Good for nothing. Well, anyone, I thank you so much. I appreciate y'all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you, everybody that's liked the video. Thank you for everybody that shared. All the moderators, you all are amazing. But all of you all, actually, the best live chat on the planet. So I thank you, each and every one of you. So let's do this real soon. Tomorrow's Easter, so I want to say again, happy Resurrection Sunday. He is risen. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you all next week, Lord willing. We'll be doing our live stream with the members on Monday. Actually interviewing a security guard that's worked with P Diddy and Bad Boys production. And then anything else will be announced on the community page, so community tab. So keep checking that out. Thank you so very much. And until next time, everybody, have a fantastic Easter. Have a beautiful Resurrection Sunday. And I'll see you soon. Grace and peace.